This is Carolla Digital.
Hello, my little tasty cakes. It's me, Alison, and I'm excited to present to you the second installment of my Bobcat Goldthwait interview episode. I have to tell you that Gary and I just had a little debate over how I should address you, and he thought I should call you half-eaten sticky buns because in part one of the Bobcat Goldthwait two-part episode, I called you sticky buns, and I was worried that you guys wouldn't get it, and he thought that I should be raising the dialogue, and I'm sorry that I doubted you. I know that you would have gotten it, my little half-eaten sticky buns. Did you get it? Anyway, I also wanted to remind you to visit GoToMeeting.com and use the promo code Allison for your free 30-day trial. As I've said before, they are tracking that, so please use the promo code Allison. That helps the show, or you can click on the Citrix banner on my site. Also, don't forget to get your tickets to see Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend live. Live, I say. That's August 9th at Nerd Melt, and the guest is Pete Holmes. Musical guest is the one and only Michael Rosas. So go to AlisonRosen.com for info and tickets. I love you. Here we go.
Alison Rosen. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison. With her good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison Rosen, Alison's your new best friend.
I think maybe we should do some Just Me or Everyone.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
All right, this is where people send in things they do or think where they wonder, is it just me or everyone? And then we say whether we also do them or not. The first one is actually from my parents, and you met them, Bobcat.
Yes.
Okay, my dad's, okay, he wrote here, okay, here's a real J-O-M-E, but he meant J-M-O-E, just me or everyone, but he wrote just or me everyone. And he's talking about, yeah, it's a jam. Can know I'm in a toy store by the special toy store smell. And I only vaguely am aware of this, but I do think it is a thing. Toy stores do have a certain smell. And I think it's in the very, like, in the recesses of my memory. Does this mean anything to you?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like sweet and rubbery.
It's the rubber, like, you know, what was it, Strawberry Bright? Or what was that toy that smelled
Strawberry Shortcake.
Yeah, Strawberry Shortcake, yeah. So it's that smell. That and parents' tears. That's
Exactly.
what you smell. And the faint hint of urine.
Okay.
Yes.
There's like 7 things I love about this tweet. First of all, everyone that is now screaming that your parents are on Twitter, it's at Allison's parents.
Yeah.
And it's very funny. I think I didn't even notice the JMO mess up because I was so enamored with like 3 other things. Okay.
What is the is it an owl or a cat or
It's a Maltese.
It's a dog.
Oh, okay.
Their dog. It's
Okay.
Toby.
Oh, I see. He's got his head cocked.
Yeah, it's taken from above.
He's a nice
I
guy.
like the fact, A, that your dad is savvy enough to be on Twitter. B, that he's savvy enough to know that if you send because it says at Alison Rosen at the
taught
beginning,
him that once.
but he put a period in front of it
So that
because
everyone will
there's a
see
chance that one of that of his 185 followers, one of them may not follow you and therefore may miss this gem. So he has ensured that everyone will know, which is even weirder because a JOME, as he's like to call it, just seems fucking crazy if you don't listen to this show.
I know. I don't think he considered the fact.
I don't either, but I love it. I was so happy with this tweet. I sat there and laughed for like 5 minutes when I was pulling it.
Okay. All right. Now, someone wrote that, G. Kenyon said he enjoys his urine smell post-asparagus and laments that there aren't more ways. Okay, here we go. I enjoy my urine smell post-asparagus and wish there were more options to manipulate the smell or color of it. And to that I say, yes. I don't know why I never thought about the fact that you can't really manipulate the smell of your urine with other things and how that would be wonderful if you could. Although I'm always amazed at how fast the asparagus takes hold of the pea. Anyone else amazed by that?
Oh, you mean that there's no lag time? Like
Right.
Asparagus...
Well, I've always wondered how, like, if you were to eat asparagus on the toilet, I think it'd be instant.
Sorry.
I would like to try. I've offered to time it on the podcast before. No one has taken me up on it, but I
Well,
really would.
Yeah, I would say I don't know. I can't say that I really smelled my urine. I'm missing something, or maybe it just says I don't eat greens.
Have you? Well, some people lack the enzyme, I think, that makes their pee smell after asparagus. I've read this.
Ah,
Have you not noticed a certain asparagus funk?
what does? No, I'm not really big on asparagus. But what does
Oh.
coffee do?
Well, that's the thing. So then someone wrote, I do that with coffee pee, to which I say, what? I had no idea. I don't think coffee affects your urine.
I don't know. I drink coffee every day, so I just think coffee smells like urine. Like when I go into Starbucks, I go, wow, this place smells like piss. Someone should get a bucket or a mop.
Yeah.
I actually pee coffee at this point.
That's good.
Or maybe I need to go to the doctor's.
No, I think you should just be thankful that you have a special type of coffee maker. Okay. Hector Horton says, oh, and Bobcat, perhaps you'll relate to this one. I select my cat's food based on my own tastes. I always avoid the fishy ones and go for the chicken or beef. Just me or everyone? I don't do that because I don't have cats.
Well, I actually time the eating tuna around when my cats are eating their tuna, so they won't eat my tuna.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's kind of weird, isn't it? I did that last night. Yeah, because Squeaky Fromm always tries to get my tuna, so I do the bait and switch.
And they'll accept that arrangement? They don't want yours just because it's yours?
No, it's just theirs smells better. Honestly, I mean, yeah. I don't know, but I haven't. That's as far as I take it. But yeah, I mean, I think sometimes I don't. I don't eat chicken or beef, so I don't give my cats chicken or beef. I guess maybe I am part of this.
Are you a pescatarian?
I don't know. I eat tuna. That's about it.
Would you eat other fish, though?
Yeah, but I'm starting to get to the point where I can't wrap my brain around that either. So, you know what I mean? I don't know. So, I don't have a problem with other people eating animals, but just for myself. I think, like, you know what's weird is, like, if you say you don't eat stuff, what drives me nuts is that you could even get attacked for that, and you're like...
For not eating things?
Yeah, it's like, I don't care what you eat. You know, I guess...
Right.
Why is that? Why is it, like
I think that there is this weird sense that if you're talking to someone who doesn't eat meat, that they're judging you. When a lot of the vegetarians or vegans I know aren't judging you.
I mean,
I think I've probably met... No. I'm trying to think if I've met asshole vegans or if I just have this sense that there are some very judgmental vegans out there. But I've also known, like my sister was vegan for a while. I've known vegans who actually don't make what you eat their business at all.
Yeah, I don't know why someone's so threatened by it, you know. But, you know, it's the time and place we live in. You know, you don't make your decisions for yourself on what works for you personally. You have to be on a team and bash the other guys, you know.
Are there any teams that you're on?
No, I'm not a joiner, but you know,
Yeah.
I don't eat meat, but I own a gun. You know, people don't know what to make of me. I guess.
Why do you own a gun?
Because I like shooting it. It's explosives I hold. It's the best thing ever.
Do you love 4th of July?
No, that's for amateurs. That's like you know how alcoholics don't go out on New Year's. You know what I mean?
Or Fridays.
Or Fridays. Yeah. So no, I like shooting a gun. I mean, I think it's fun. I mean, so I you know, for the longest time I didn't. I was weird about guns, but
Weird, like what? Like how?
To the point where.
Because I'm afraid of them.
I had a lot of problems with them. I grew up with a lot of guns in the house, so I kind of I wasn't into them, but they were used were shooting animals, and they just were
hunting.
Yeah, and they just kind of, it was just this weird spooky cabinet that was filled with them and stuff to me, and the likelihood of someone getting liquored up and shooting someone was pretty good. So that kind of, but now as somebody, as an adult, and I just I like firing a gun. I went out with a bunch of guys who do it. I started shooting guns. I mean, I say it's like explosives. I mean, I don't. You know, I'm not like a hillbilly driving around shooting trash and rabbits. You know, I mean, I go to ranges and stuff.
And what do you shoot?
I shoot revolvers mostly. So I mean, I don't shoot like I'm not interested in like high powered automatic weapons because the skill part is gone. You know what I mean? That's just like, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, I like, you know, it's just kind of, here's why I think I like guns. You want to know why?
I would like to know.
It's like scuba diving. When you're scuba diving, you can't think of anything else. You just can't. You're relaxed because you're constant. You know, you're breathing and you're taking in the environment, and you're just there. You're not thinking about anything else. So when you're firing the gun, it's the same thing. It's like you can't be thinking about BS. You can't be arguing with people who aren't in the room. You know,
it's like the best way in the world to clear your head.
Yeah,
like
I actually
30 minutes
heard
at a
that
gun
recently.
Range, when you walk out, you realize you're not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
And it all starts to come back in. But for that, like, 30 minutes, you have not been thinking about shit except what you're doing.
I once rode a bike for a really
it's
long time,
great.
and that's how I felt after that.
Really?
Yeah. But
Where'd
I mean,
you
it
go?
was it was in Orange County, and I went from my parents' house like down to Balboa, the peninsula, and then back. And I hadn't ridden a bike in like 20 years, and I basically got dared to. It was like, we're gonna bike ride to the beach. I'm not even gonna ask you though, because you would never go. And I was like, oh really? Yes, I will. and you know how they say you don't forget to ride a bike? You can.
do?
Oh yeah. Or maybe I never learned how to turn left or right because that barely came back to me. But and so anyway, for a little while I was into bike riding and learning again, and I just remember feeling so tired after the whole long thing and so noodly, and but like I couldn't think about anything, and I thought this is kind of how I want to be. I mean, I can't maintain that level of
You'd have to keep riding further.
yeah, that level of exercise-induced stupidity. But anyway, I know what you mean about the clearing your head.
Getting dared into something is I used to go down to Mexico with a lot of the crew guys from the Kimmel show, and they would surf, and they were all 20 years younger than me, or even more, and there was this guy sitting on the beach next to me. He goes, yeah, so you just sit here because you're too old. And I was like, so I grab a longboard and I go up, and I stood up and rode it in. First time it was, and then I should have just put it in the sand because then I would have been a badass. But then I went back out and I ate shit. I just took a board in the head. Like it was like the board shoots straight up in the air, and I'm like, man, it's so quiet. Why is it so quiet? And then bonk, it hit me right in the head. But there was like this lag time. I had enough time to go, why is it quiet? Bam. So so that's dangerous when you get dared into stuff like that.
Yeah, I normally don't allow that to happen. But that time I did. Okay. Holista says, I'm absolutely terrified to walk up or down stairs with someone following behind me. It's a race for my life. I don't have that, although I can, if I'm in the deep end of a pool, I can pretty quickly talk myself into being afraid of something that I can't see down in the deep end. Even though, obviously, there's not going to be a shark in the pool or anything.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I remember being a fear when I was a little kid learning to swim. Like, what if there's a shark? Even though there couldn't be. But as an adult, if I'm in a body of water and I can't see all the way to the bottom, I can sort of freak myself out by just thinking about it.
I think that's like a human nature thing.
Maybe it is.
Yeah, I mean, because it's it was true.
Right.
It still is, but I have no problems swimming like in a murky lake and all that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why, but this person should worry about me because although I don't act on it, quite often when I'm on an escalator or walking behind someone, totally unprovoked for no reason at all, I'm like, punch him in the back of the head. Like this voice tells me to hit him in the back of the head. Now, I don't act on it.
That's good.
But it's usually like if it's an old lady on an escalator, I want to punch her in the back of the head. Now,
What do you imagine would happen?
I don't really, and I'm not angry. It's mostly because of the reaction.
Yeah.
But I don't do it. That and when someone asks for directions, when they come up
You
to
want
my
to punch
car.
them in the head?
Well, they come over the window. They go, "Hey, can you help me?" Bam. But I don't. Again, I don't.
Now, Hollywood Mohegan says not putting salt on the chips at a Mexican restaurant. But here's what's interesting about that. As if everyone else puts salt on their chips at a Mexican restaurant. Do they? I don't. I've seen people do it, but I don't think it's like the normal way.
I don't think it's a. Yeah, I don't think he's quite got the spirit of the JMO here.
Yeah, I'm confused by that one.
Yeah.
What is
I think he just
me?
wants to know if he's the only one who doesn't put salt on his chips. Maybe not.
No.
Hey, I
It's
don't
not.
do something. Is it
Right.
me?
Well, it's as if-
Yes, it is you. I didn't do a lot of things all day today. Hollywood Morgan.
All
Or
right.
was it?
Now,
Mohegan?
Chris Ridley, moving to the bottom, says he wears his socks inside out as they're infinitely more comfortable that way. I don't do that. Although sometimes I'll realize that I had my underwear on inside out, and I'll think something felt wrong all day.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like a slightly different texture. The
Does this
side,
come from-
the crotch side versus the non-crotch side.
But is this coming from your head or your body? I mean, is it your butt going? This has been a weird day. Which one is it?
It's both.
It's
a
both?
collaboration. We had to go to meeting somewhere around my spleen and discussed that something felt a little off. But I will wear mismatched socks, and I know that there are people who think that means you're crazy, but I don't think so. I just think, why play by their rules?
Yeah, man.
You know?
You don't need the man telling you how to put your socks
No,
on.
and plus, if they're just going to be if people aren't going to see them anyway, they're all the same. Who cares?
If I saw you wearing different socks, I wouldn't think you were crazy. I would think it was, laundry time or something.
Well, it's always laundry time.
That's
You're
true.
colorblind or you got dressed in the dark.
Now let me ask you though, will you wear socks? Like I don't have any shoe wear where there's an option that the socks will never be seen. At some point you're always going to see some portion of my socks when I'm like, if I sit down, like when my jeans come up, like you're gonna see it. Like I don't have any like high ankled shoes or anything.
You should invest in some.
So does your all the wear non-matching socks apply if there's a chance that someone will notice it?
Well,
Because you're a rebel, if so. But if you only wear it with like your high ankle boots, then I don't think that's weird or courageous at all.
trying to think when I've worn like tennis shoes here or something, because there was a time where I was dressed down. There was the brief sweatpant tennis shoe.
The news mom era.
The recovering from surgery phase. I'm trying to think what was
So were
going
you
on with my
wearing-
socks then.
So yeah, I'm trying to put. You had black sweatpants.
Yes, actually.
Did you have black
Yeah.
sweatpants and black t-shirts? Or
No, I think.
Gray sweatshirts.
Yeah, no, and one was light blue.
One was light blue.
I borrowed that
and,
one.
And her mom drove her every day from Orange County. It
So I
was
was on
adorable.
painkillers.
And then
Oh,
she'd
really?
Yeah.
sit here and listen to the whole show. It was really
How were those podcasts?
They were
They were
actually
fine.
really good.
They were really good.
Really?
They
actually.
were good.
I'm gonna have
some
to
people,
listen.
Some people say they miss that.
Oh,
They-
really? Were you a
Yeah.
little slurry, or were you brutally honest, or?
I wasn't second guessing anything. In
You're-
fact, I remember
really?
before one of the shows, I received some bad news, and I remember thinking, sort of like that thing where you're like poking at your reflection in a mirror. I was thinking, normally this would bother me, but I don't give a flying fuck right now. Woo!
And you went through. Did you mention it on the broadcast?
Yes, that I was on painkillers. Yeah, because I had
Oh
to.
no, I meant the painful
no.
thing.
No.
The only time I was high in 30 years was I had back surgery, and I when my wife came over once, and I was this is before we were married and stuff, and I was sitting there crying watching movie on Lifetime. She goes, "You don't get any more pain meds." I was sitting here watching Marky Post, Mother May. No,
Mother May I Sleep with Danger?
That's not.
Is that what
That's
you're gonna say?
Tori
'Cause that-
Spelling. Yeah,
that's a
Tori
classic,
Spelling.
right.
I did see that. No, I was watching Chasing the Dragon with Marky Post, where she's accurately portraying a heroin addict.
I have never seen that.
Oh, thank me now.
Oh my God! I gotta go find that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the end of my my back pain.
So, wait,
Medicine.
are you sober, or you just don't get high?
I stopped drinking and taking drugs and all that stuff when I was 19. But people don't know that because I don't really think it's an achievement. You know, people stop this stuff and you go, "Hey, I'm sober," and you go, "Oh, I don't care." You know, that you good for you. Who gives a rat's ass? You know, like,
Yeah.
That's like when people like crap out a kid, like people act like that's an achievement. It's like, when talk to me in 20 years if your kid's a decent person, but just because you go to India, you'll learn really quick that life is not as fragile or precious as people like to think.
But I think that for people where it was a struggle to quit something, then it can be an achievement.
But if it's a struggle, it's a little bit like I made a commitment to stop walking out into traffic. Good for you. Yay.
Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome. I just think, I think it's again, like, it's kind of what I was talking about earlier. It's the fact that people don't have nothing's private. People don't have shame. People don't have, everything everybody does, people feel that it's open for discussion. At this point in my life, I'm willing to talk about it just because I get bored of people thinking I'm high or was high all these years, which I just get bored because it's like, it's people who don't take drugs that think my behavior before was the actions of a drug addict. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like people who are like...
As if that's the only way to explain it or something.
Yeah. It's
or
also
their
just,
way to understand.
It's just like... It's like Charlie Sheen, like people jumping at him and oh, Charlie Sheen's on drugs. It's like, no, he's having manic episodes. You know what I mean? It's like when you're really high, you don't hold press conferences.
Right.
You stay inside and
Yeah.
there's black helicopters flying over your house. But it's just nerdy gossip people. I kind of don't trust people who don't drink or didn't drink. You know what I mean?
No, we'll see. Wait, which one though? Because I don't trust people who never ever.
Yeah, exactly.
I barely ever drink, and I don't say I'm sober because to me, if I say that, then that puts me in a certain category which I'm not in. Like I don't go to meetings, and I'm not, because occasionally I will drink, and I don't want everyone to be like, "Oh my God, she's back on the wagon" or
she's
something.
She's out of the juice.
Yeah, or back or off the wagon. Yeah, but I mean, I stopped drinking because I felt like it was getting out of hand for me. But when I meet someone who has
Who's
never
had
ever, and especially when I was getting sober, that freaked me out when I would meet someone who had never, because I feel like we are in such different places in life then, and now I'm questioning my use of the term getting sober. But I mean, it was a process to quit because I was, it was alcohol and it was drugs and it was a whole pattern of just acting out and behavior. So there's a lot of changes. But yeah, someone who never ever has touched any of that
you don't
freaks
trust
me
them
out.
and you're weirded out. Now, do your folks know about this, or are they hearing about it right now?
No, they know. they know to degrees.
Would they care? They would care if you were hurting yourself.
Yes.
But they wouldn't care.
I think they're proud of me that I took control of something that I felt like, because this all happened when I was living in New York, so I wasn't here.
But
I
there's
think
lots
they're
of people who go
happy
through, like, really use alcohol and drugs in a very dangerous and or in a way that's relentless, and then they stop, and then they actually later on still occasionally will do it, and they're not an alcoholic or a drug addict. They just had a phase where they drank alcoholically. How
right.
about that?
I think that's more what I was, because that was always a question that I had was like, well, am I an alcoholic? Because I don't, I hear these people talking, and what they're talking about, that doesn't sound like me to me. But I kept saying, I don't want to drink tonight. And then I'd go to an event or a function, and then I would drink. And I was like, why am I not able?
Right,
I kept finding myself in these positions where I had made a promise with myself and I broke it. And then that would lead to, texting some guy that I had decided I don't think I should be seeing this person anymore. And then I just was having trouble controlling my own behavior. And I am something of a control freak with myself. So therefore, other people probably wouldn't have found all that problematic. But to me, the fact that I couldn't get a grip on these things was upsetting to me. So, I got a grip on it. Now I don't ever have fun, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one. No, I do have fun sometimes. Okay, Chris Ridley says, and this will be the last just me or everyone, wear both boxers and briefs at the same time because boxers don't give any support, briefs just plain look ridiculous, and boxer briefs only solve both problems halfway. Well, obviously, I don't do any of that, but you guys... Wearing two pairs of underwear at once? That sounds nuts.
That's a little bananas. Yeah, that's
I feel like you're hotboxing your crotch.
I think
you're overwrapping.
I don't know what this guy. I think he.
That's just him.
Yeah, that's just him. I think he came to the door with a boner one day. The pizza guy or some Mormons or something saw it.
Yeah.
I think he's terrified of an erection.
Yeah.
Or terrified of a drip.
He's terrified of an erection. He's got to be.
I mean, how much support do you need?
Not much.
Maybe he's got huge balls. I don't know.
But even if you have huge balls, whatever. I think that's ridiculous. I think boxer briefs are just fine. I don't know. I don't think underwear look good on men, period, really. So.
Do you prefer the men naked?
I do.
Where do you sit on the underwear thing?
Walked right into that, didn't I?
Where do I sit on the underwear thing? I think men can look good in underwear.
I think
not across the board, but
I think a dude my age in tidy whities.
Oh no, that's bad.
Is not cool.
I think very few, if any, men can pull off tidy whities.
Really? I guess if you're thin and young, right?
But even then, I think
you look
it's
a little weird.
Speedo almost. It's too little. There's not enough fabric on you. Is generally what I think. I'm sure I could meet a guy though who loves to wear tidy whities, and then I could say, but for you, they work.
They work.
But
Now,
I don't
what
think
about
so.
your gentleman boyfriend? Does he have boxers or tidy whities?
No, he has boxer briefs.
35?
Now I'm blanking. This is almost like not being able to know not being able to say what color eyes he has. Because now I'm thinking.
All right then, what color eyes does he have?
Boxer briefs. No, he has green eyes.
He has brief eyes.
Wait a minute. I'm pretty sure
this
it's boxer briefs.
This will be a good test to find out if he listens to the show.
He does. I know that.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Well, what kind of underwear do you guys wear?
I wear boxer briefs.
I wear boxers briefs. I don't like the boxers because they don't seal up the fly.
Yeah.
Bad times.
And then what? It runs into your jeans?
Well, I can flop around.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I got the image.
Okay.
No, but it's just it doesn't separate.
All right.
He's totally right. 100% agree.
That's a snafu in the boxing
I
industry.
feel like the boxer briefs are sort of the, they're at the cutting edge of men's underwear technology.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I think in 20, 30 years, boxers and briefs will be gone.
Right, like men's one-piece bathing suits.
Yeah. They will be
They're a thing of the past.
And a handlebar mustache.
Exactly. I can't decide whether we should do Hey Go Fuck Yourself first, or whether Bobcat and I should talk about the awkward thing that we only touched upon earlier. Let's do Hey Go Fuck Yourself first.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
So, once again, it was a little bit difficult for me to find a solid Hey Go Fuck Yourself because I haven't been regularly, that was a hard word to say, I haven't been regularly,
Ego surfing.
Exactly. And my ego has suffered. No, it's actually better because of that. But then, as if someone was smiling down upon me and laughing at me, I did encounter this comment. Okay. Alison Rosen thinks she is clever by constantly combining two words like, this podcast is fantastic. It's podtastic. I can only imagine how this must be a staple for her unlistenable Alison Rosen is Your Best Friend podcast. You notice when she does this, her voice gets really loud and excited sounding? You know she thinks she hit comedic gold, or comold, as she would call it. Okay, you fucking moron. Here's the thing. When you're trying to point out how a comedian is not funny, you can't do your impression of their jokes, which are unfunny, and then point to that as evidence of them being unfunny. You asshole, would have to go find actual examples of me putting two words together, like fondoozy, which is actually, I think, what got me hired for this job. But I would never say podtastic. That's like hacky and stupid. And comold, that just sounds like a kind of mold. So hey, go fuck yourself. It's good
Go fuck yourself.
to get it off my chest, and I feel like I get off more than just this. It's just a lot of anger.
I actually, that helped me. That made me feel good.
You're welcome.
But here's the thing. One of the things that does as frost my cake, as my dearly departed mother would say, is the folks that say what I thought. You know, Goldthwait thinks this and thinks that. It's like I'm not aware. I'm not sitting around going, if I do this, people will react this way. I really just do what I do. And that's fear-based when they say that kind of crap. They're living their whole life, you know, I'll do this to get that. And I'll, you know, so.
Right.
But that will drive me bananas. And you know, but you can't feed into it. You were just saying that. It's like I was just in London for over a week, and I didn't ego surf, and you want to know something? Didn't miss anything. It just felt good. Just you know, so you know that every once in a while I'll catch something. I'll go, oh, this is happening, and we should be aware of it. But that's not really important.
Well, that.
But then, what about people who aren't listening to the point where they're way off base? Get what I'm saying? They're making stuff, and they're not connecting with people anymore. They're not even connecting with the people that would like them.
Well, that's the fear. I mean, that at the beginning, that's why I wanted to read the comments, and that is what I was afraid of when I stopped, or, you know, I periodically stop. And what I'm always afraid of is, well, then it's like I'm just doing the podcast in a vacuum, and I want to know what people's reactions are.
But I mean, I don't know how you can honestly know, because I don't know if the people who comment negative or positively is an accurate portrayal of
that's the thing.
of
I don't
what people
think
like.
it really is.
You know what I mean? Like the new movie, when I'm poking around trying to figure out the folks that actually watch it and comment on it. I mean, the folks who actually comment on it, they're mad and bananas.
Yeah.
But then the folks that just give it a rating, it's very high. It's the highest rated movie I've had. So the people that do want to watch that movie and watch it are happy with it. So, and then the people that take the time to write a review of it. You know, I think one of the things I find really funny, I was looking on Amazon about people, and they have a problem with the fact that that there's these long-winded monologues in the movie, and they are. I mean, the movie I was basing it on was a movie called Little Murders, but there's movies like Network. There was like David Mamet does this, and that was the kind of thing I wanted to experiment. Tarantino does it. I was like, hey, can I do these long monologues that aren't realistic about stuff? That was just it's as if like I was making a musical or a genre almost. So the folks that don't agree with what the character is saying, this one guy spent 7 long paragraphs saying that it's these long-winded diatribes that I wrote. And I was like, your diatribe is 7 times longer than Frank's rant that you're complaining about. So people are insane.
Would you like to tell that guy something?
Yeah, he can go fuck himself. And while he's at it, Prophet 68, you can go fuck right off too.
Hey,
I don't know who he is.
Go fuck yourself.
I have one more, and I shouldn't even I'm going to regret revealing that I even know what this asshole is writing on Twitter, but it's this one hater of mine, and I saw one of his tweets. And see, this one isn't even to me, though, but this woman had written something like, WTF he doing? And so he wrote to her, WTF he doing? This is paraphrase. Don't you mean WTF is he doing? WTF he doing is not a complete sentence. You don't want people to think you're dumb, do you? But he wrote YOUR. Now, I can't respond to that, obviously. But it's like, if you're going to be that much of an asshole that you're going to call out someone's grammar on Twitter, you should make sure your own grammar is perfect, right?
Yes, but I mean, that's why I am not on Twitter. The fear of misspelling something when I'm arguing with someone.
Yeah.
You know, I do think it is Twitter is I don't know. You know, maybe someday I'll get involved in it, but it's just the idea of and there's some people who are very witty, you know, who write really funny things, but I do just see a lot of narcissists showing the world what shitty spellers they are, and then retweeting people who think they're awesome.
I have to watch that, actually, because it's tempting. It's very tempting.
Really?
If someone will say something really nice about a podcast episode, and I want to retweet it to be like, look, you guys, you should listen. It's great. But then I realize if you're just retweeting compliments, that's really blowhardy. I still do it sometimes, but
Do you?
Not always.
I'm not on Twitter, so but I am. But trust me, I do have a big ego. I mean, you know what it is though? When I repeat something or something that I'm impressed by, someone that I look up to, and they have something nice to say about my work, I don't think it's me bragging saying, hey, this guy thinks I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm thinking, hey, this guy thinks I'm okay. Do you think I'm okay? It's a little sadder.
Yeah, but isn't that just a different perception of the same behavior?
Oh, it is, but I mean, I try not to do any of it. But where do you draw the line to the point where you're not enjoying life? If something nice happens, you should let it in. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't mean like it doesn't need to change your perception, but you should be not so insecure that when you have awesome moments that you take a mental photograph of it, or you go, oh, this is pretty rad. You know, this won't happen again.
Well, you're right. There is something sort of, I don't know, hypocritical is the right word, but the idea of someone says something nice, so I'm going to retweet it so that everyone sees that this person thought that about me, but I don't want to retweet it because I don't want everyone to think I'm a certain way. I mean, the whole thing, the whole behavior is you're letting what other people think of you determine everything.
It's bananas. Mm-hmm. I think I don't. That's why it's a slippery slope. I don't go in. I had a wonderful experience. I don't think I ever told this on anything or retold it. I had a movie that we shot in 2 weeks with a crew from Craigslist. and it's called Sleeping Dogs Lie. It was called Stay, and it was at Sundance, and that was a big deal. And there was a lot of funny stories and all that. But the part of the story I never told was I went to Spain, and there was 1,400 people, and the mayor of this town is there, and he looks like the dude from the Monopoly board, you know what I mean? And everybody's in tuxedos and gowns, and it was really funny. It looked like the dude really did look like that Monopoly board dude, and the women looked like they were like big-chested women, and they're the kind of women the Marx Brothers would offend. You know, so it was a very highfalutin thing, and there I am in like a cowboy hat and a skirt, like a Catholic schoolgirl skirt, and
Naturally.
Converse, and you know, I really didn't think it was going to be that highfalutin. So I go in, and they go, now look, sometimes they boo movies. So 20 minutes in, people are reading it subtitles, and they start laughing, and then the movie ended, and the whole place, it was quiet, and then they gave me a standing O. You know, they stood up for the movie. They stood up for our movie, and I was overwhelmed, right? And then I signed some autographs, and it was crazy, right? But what I didn't know is that all 1,400 people were waiting for us to leave the theater. They were standing on the stairwell, and as we walked out of the stairwell, there was like 1,400 people cheering us. It was like the end of Star Wars, you know, I just started crying. I said to the guy who was putting the movie out, I go, "Does this happen a lot?" And he's like, "No, I've never seen it before." So I'm just sobbing, and then I ran and got a camera from the car and came back in. So everyone, get back to where you were, and I took pictures of them all. Now, that's an awesome thing. It only exists
That's
if
so
I
sweet,
retell
though.
the story, but I don't, and I have that moment, and it's important to if I'm gonna. If I'm going to obsess on what somebody said in some tweet and stuff, you have to let stuff like that, and you got to keep that stuff alive. Not to be a blowhard or not to inflate yourself, but just to sit in that muck all the time is useless. It's just wasted energy.
Now, the tears, was it because they liked your movie or because they accepted you, or both, or neither?
I just didn't. I don't know why. I think I just lost it because. It was weird to have that much kind of love. It was crazy from strangers, It was really strange. I mean, it was really
Very
weird.
moving, yeah.
Especially when I had no idea it was going to happen. I turned around and they're all waiting, and I really thought, I didn't know what they were waiting for. I thought someone else was coming or something. Because I've had that direct opposite thing, too, like where there's a big crowd and they're waiting for someone else. Hey, Bobcat, get out of the shot.
But I think on some level, everyone wants to feel accepted and loved like that. I think there's that need in everyone.
But here's the thing where I think people get derailed is when they have moments like that, they expect it. They expect it to happen again.
Yeah, and then they worry if it doesn't.
And they ruin the thing that did happen that was special and unique by I'm old enough that by the time these kind of things were happening to me, I knew they were special and I enjoyed them.
All right, and now the awkwardness. So, because this has been like a running, I don't know how much you've heard of this, if any. This has been kind of a running commentary on this podcast. The crush that I had on you, or have, and then the fallout of that, and then it's a whole thing. Okay.
What's the fallout?
Oh, good. You don't know. I'll tell you. There's not fallout's too strong, but okay. So it was on. I don't know. It was a podcast where I first talked about my crush on you, and then you were on the Adam Carolla show, and we were doing a live show at Irvine. And you
I mentioned
on
that
stage
I heard of it. Yes.
mentioned it.
Called
yes,
you out.
That's right. Because you said something like gross, and then you said, "Oh, I can feel out whatever crush Allison had on me just went away." And then I said, "Oh, you knew about that, huh?" Right. And inside my head, I was thinking,
"Did you want to die?"
Just a little bit, but I was like, "You're good. You're cool." You sort of like. If when you fall down, you're like, "I'm okay. Nothing's broken yet." I'm like, "I'm fine." And then I had this fantasy of talking to you afterward and being so exactly the same as before you had mentioned this to show that I was not rattled by this at all. It was very weird. I instantly became 13 years old. And I imagined what I would say to you afterwards was something like, "Oh, you heard that?" and then I'd hug you goodbye, which is probably what I would have done, and then that would be it. But instead, what I found was that at the end of the show, I was like, "Okay, bye." And then I darted out of there and I felt weird. Just a little bit weird. Now, my parents were there. So I think it is a little bit understandable that I don't know what made me turn into a 13-year-old. But I did then mention this on the podcast that when we had the podcast next, and Dr. Drew was here, and he's like, "Yeah, it's interesting the way Dr. Drew, the other guy, I have my other celebrity crush, and he's like, it's interesting how we can all of a sudden, feel like we're 13 again, and you'd have to think like what had happened that day to make you feel that way, and blah, blah, blah." So that was that. So then we're at Irvine again, and this guy shows up holding a Bobcat Goldthwait mask with the eyes cut out.
Oh, that's creepy.
So he can see out of it, but it's super creepy. And he did that because he wanted me to be on his podcast, and he figured that's the way to get to me.
Did you do his podcast?
No.
You were creeped out.
But he gave me the mask, which I considered bringing in, and then I thought I'm not going to because they won't come alive for the listeners at home, and so I'll just talk about my shirt, which is bright. So anyway, but for the rest of the show, I was carrying around this Bobcat, this creepy mask, and then I realized, and like a lot of people were stopping me and asking if they could take pictures with me. And then I realized I'm walking around an Adam Carolla show crowd carrying a Bobcat mask on a stick. And these people have heard these stories. Like, that
In
doesn't
Irvine,
look,
once again.
that doesn't look good.
This happened in Irvine.
And then we go to so I do this podcast live sometimes. And there were 2 Bobcats in the audience.
This
this
is
guy
only gonna
and his
make
podcast
it-
co-host. Well,
What do they look like? The masks. Is it old me or is it
No,
80s
it's
me?
this you.
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's that hat, I think, even. Or it's a similar hat.
It could be this hat. So I've got a lot of questions. First of all, Drew and me.
Yeah,
You know what
you're
I
in
think?
good company.
You have a type.
Oh, what is that?
No, I can't think of anyone that I'm.
Really?
What is that type? I can't.
See, and I'm so
can't think-
narcissistic that I'm like, really?
Oh,
you figured
really?
it out?
What's the
Tell
type?
me. Yeah.
I couldn't think of
No.
a guy who I have less in common with, maybe. But
But you both, you know what? You both seem like good listeners. Because I was taken with you, not from you in Police Academy, not that old you
Right.
persona, but more the you from just talking to you.
oh, well, I'm speechless. First of all, and I'm flattered.
Now
How's
you know
that?
how I felt.
Now, well, that's good. I'm just
Been
going to run
flattered,
off.
no,
I'll say,
but, yeah.
I got to go. My dead parents are here. So I, yeah, I am speechless. That's kind of nice. But I don't. I think that that's just a nice compliment, and I'm not going to poo-poo it and say negative things about myself or my appearance and stuff. Now, but don't people find that? And this isn't me having bad self-image, but obviously, if you mention that you have a crush on me, people are like, "What?" You know.
Well, so did you hear the podcast I was on, or did someone tell you?
No,
that
someone told me.
Oh, who?
I don't know how I.
I'm just kidding. You don't know who it was?
Well, I know, but so I'm
Because two things. It was For Crying Out Loud. That it was the Parent Experiment. That was the name before For Crying Out Loud. And if I recall, the other women in the room, who I think know you, agreed. Like, oh yeah, there's something about him that's attractive. So I think, and so then therefore I have in my head built this idea that you are kind of like a stealth Lothario. Are you? You do well with the ladies, or you could if you wanted to. Yes. Because you're charming and you're soft spoken.
I will say this. I will say, I'm full of the old malarkey, as my mother would say again. I'm married, but yes, I did. I guess, yeah. I guess
it's the same thing that makes you the unlikely homecoming king, I think.
Yeah, but it's a power that you have to be careful with. No,
You're admitting it.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm aware that I've gone out with women and stuff that people would consider, way out of my league and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think I have. I don't know what it is. How would you know what it is?
You're charming and you're winning and you're engaging and you seem confident but not arrogant, and you don't seem like an asshole. These are all things that women like.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. They always say women like a guy with a sense of humor. So,
and that.
But with that, comedians should be getting a lot of play. But what women don't like is the other side of the comedian, which is the self-loathing chronic masturbator. No, the
needy.
Yeah, the desperate, the needy,
right.
The bitter, the driven. Driven people are really on I think really don't attract people.
If they're selfish and driven, then yeah. I feel like most women will say they want someone who's ambitious, though. Or
ambition is fine, but driven, like where you'll compromise, or it's the only thing you can think about night and day. And, and all
that's
that kind of stuff.
unattractive.
Yeah, that's gross. But this is a very strange. I've never felt more like John Stamos. I'm trying to explain my appeal. I know that. Look, I know that I'm not a piece of ass, but I guess this. You know what? This is the thing. It's I've had when we talk about ego surfing, guys will attack me and go, how does that ugly troll get X, Y, and Z, and how did he do that? How did that? And part of me is like going, well, I should be your hero if I'm an average dude or even less than average, and I could hook up with these people. And the other thing is I had to stop and think, and it's like I had to really visualize who's typing this. And I know I don't try to put down, the people in the, the haters got to hate. I don't think like that. But I really didn't, I couldn't imagine George Clooney going, I can't believe he's going out. You know what I mean? So, right. So I go, all right, so.
You're right, though. You should be their hero.
Yeah,
by their logic,
they should look up to me. They shouldn't. But the universe does want Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. They don't want, They don't want, I don't want to put anyone down, but they want people to be aesthetically matched. They don't want mismatch.
Yeah. I wonder why, though. I guess because it's like it maybe makes you then jump to certain conclusions about why they're doing that.
Well, it also makes
she doesn't think she could do better. Oh, he doesn't think he could do better, or whatever.
But it also makes you judge your life. But I mean, like, it wasn't like I also when I did date, it wasn't like I had a type or anything either. It's like I was looking for people I just connected with. So I mean, so it wasn't like I'm speechless. God damn it! This is really weird. I can't imagine what people are thinking.
That's how I felt.
Okay,
well,
good.
People who are listening are thinking.
Now the next time we talk will be normal because now we both had this horribly awkward phase.
I've given the discomfort to you.
Yeah, but
I feel great now.
But this is here's the thing. Once we discuss it, it's out of it takes all the energy away from it. So we can move on and be pals.
Yes, that's what I had wanted to happen at Irvine, but this just didn't. So wait, you don't know who told you though?
Who ratted you out?
Yeah, I mean it's not like it was private because I was just on a podcast. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm just curious. Was it someone who worked on the podcast or someone who had been listening?
No, it was actually doing morning because part of being a comic, I do a lot of morning radio, and that's where I had heard of it when I was like on the road doing Tate and Teabag in the morning, I mean, and
Teabag said it?
No, it wasn't on the air. It was like a producer type who asked me if I listened to it.
Wow, someone in the industry. All right. Well, you know what? This awkwardness
has been really awkward.
Yeah, no, but it started strong.
Yeah.
No, I don't feel awkward. I hope you don't feel too awkward.
No, I don't feel awkward. I mean, I'm very flattered. That's all.
Well, excellent. Thank you so much for doing my podcast, Bob. This is at the end. I'm going to ask. What do people call you?
I have like my dearest, oldest friends who call me Bobcat, and then the 09 and my daughter do not call me Bobcat. Except my daughter will do that like in a mall. She'll go Bobcat.
What do other people call you, Bob?
Some call me Bob, but the majority of my old friends, like the people like Tom Kenny calls me Tomcat, and yeah. So it's whatever you feel comfortable with.
How do you introduce yourself? You just say Bob, right?
It depends. Like Bob, I introduce myself, but like if it's someplace where I kind of have to explain that I'm me, I will say Bobcat. And also I say Bobcat because I want people to be comfortable saying it.
Right.
I would never say, please call me Bob.
Huh. Well, the funny thing is when I hear people calling you Bob, to me that sounds more familiar than, your formal name, Bobcat. And then I realized when I was thinking about that how ridiculous that sounds because Bobcat is really more the nickname.
But I went back and forth a lot when I had to send him an email the first time to get this all scheduled. And I didn't know what to do and thought really hard about it. And I settled on Bobcat. And then he replied back, and it comes in as Robert. No last name. And I was like, what the fuck?
I can't win.
Right.
But I probably signed at BC.
You did.
Yeah,
You did.
okay.
It didn't seem like awkward or like I had overstepped my bounds, but it was just really weird to get this email back from like and I was like, who the fuck is, and then I opened it and I was
Robert.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Kimmel's mad about it. He's like, who's Robert?
All right, Robert. So
Robert.
where can we go find you if we want to find you?
I'm not on social media, and
So we can't. You can listen to this podcast
You
and
can
then
listen to
wait
this
for the
podcast.
next
Go to the
project.
website for the movie. Probably a website for that.
There's probably Facebook, God Bless America. You can get it on all kinds of downloadings and things like that. And I'm always out traveling around telling jokes and making some more movies soon.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you to all the listeners. If you're going to buy something on Amazon, which you are because they have everything, click through the banner on my website because that helps out this show and it doesn't cost you anything extra. And thank you for being the bestest listeners ever. Come see this podcast live August 9th at the Nerd Melt Theater with guest Pete Holmes, and there will be a musical guest. That's Thursday, August 9th. You can get to the ticket link on my website, AlisonRosen.com. If you want to email the show, it's ariynbf@adamcarolla.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at Alison Rosen. You can, I do the social media. You can follow the show's Twitter feed, which is at ariynbf, ARIYNBF. And you can follow Gary on Twitter at GPatrickSmith. And you can like us on Facebook. It's easy to find. I love you guys. Bye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Thank you for choosing the Alison Rosen Show. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. That's right, that's right. Those good times don't seem to end. That's right, that's right. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now it's time to go. Hope to see you next time for the Alison Rosen Show. Yeah! Yeah, Alison Rosen is your new best friend.
This is Carolla Digital.